Happy New Year, except to LSU fans.
Are we really doing this?
All jokes aside, hope everyone had a good holiday season and a happy new year. On this episode of the WHS Sports Show, we give you a rundown of the WHS Sports action you may have missed over break.
Don't forget the bowl season action in college football, the weirdness that happened in the NFL and college basketball. Since you've been gone, the boys basketball team has gone 3-0.
Indeed they have, and they started off with a massive conference win versus Noblesville, 48-43. Highlighted by Trey Buchanan's 17 points, the Rocks offense found its pace early, but it went into halftime, knotted up at 21.
In the third quarter, the Millers outscored us by 1 point, but in the fourth quarter, the Tides took a massive turn. We took a 3-point lead into the final minute, and the game was sealed with an earth-shattering Alex Romack dunk.
That dunk secured the Millers' first loss of the season and Coach Sumter's 100th of all time. Congrats, Coach.
The other two wins were solid and big. Following the Friday night win against Noblesville was a Saturday afternoon win versus Bethesda Christian, the final being 50-36. Will Harvey showed out with a nice 16-point performance. Sam Bishop got 12, and Alex Romack had, get this, 15 rebounds.
That's crazy, and he had 6 more rebounds than he did points. The following Wednesday, we took another dub, this time a 36-point win versus Muncie Burris. In this game, it seemed like Oprah herself was giving out points. Let's see, Romack with 15, Armani with 6, Will Harvey with 9, Max McComb with 10, Charles with 5, Sam with 3, Seth with 4, heck, Matthew Noss had 4.
He actually had as many points in one game as Alex Wolf did the entirety of last year.
The depth on this team is truly something else, isn't it? This week we have 3 games, 2 of which are away. One today versus Mount Vernon, the 2023 home debut versus Yorktown, and a massive away game at Carmel.
Since we've last gotten to talk to you guys, the girls basketball team has gone 3-2. I don't think it's necessary to go in depth on the first game. All I'll say is that it was a 53-19 loss to Noblesville.
Yeah, it's definitely best to just leave it at that. We then bounced back with a good win and a conference win at that against Franklin Central on Tuesday. It was a back and forth game until the fourth quarter when we busted out with 18 points and put the nail in the coffin with a 49-44 win.
Ellie Kelleher led the team in points.
Are we really shocked about this?
I mean, if you let me finish my sentence, then I'll tell you.
My bad.
Ellie Kelleher had 16, no shock there. Lindsay Van Dyke had 14, and Aubrey Crockett went 11-7-1 on points, rebounds, and assists. It was a great bounce back game for sure.
We followed that with a really good win versus Kankakee Valley. Man, I just know I butchered that.
No, I think that's right.
However, it's pronounced. We won handsomely 49-32. Something unique, we held them to 2 points in the first quarter, which is just so funny for so many reasons.
Hey, I can guess who led the team in points.
Be my guest, my friend.
I'm going to go out and make my hottest take ever on the sports show and say, Ellie Kelleher.
You're on fire recently. She dropped 20 on the Cougars with 4 rebounds and an assist to pair with it. The offense in general was on point, and it showed.
After that, followed a loss in the same tournament versus Twin Lakes, where Ellie and Aubrey Crockett split the scoring lead with 8 points apiece.
Then, in our most recent game, we dominated the Zebras of Rochester 45-23. Our offense was just as good as our defense in this one, and it reflected in the box score. This time, instead of Aubrey Crockett splitting the scoring lead with Ellie Kelleher, it was Lindsay Van Dyke with 10.
The Lady Rocks didn't allow more than 10 points in any quarter in this one, and the team had 8 steals total, which was monumental in our success. This week, we are home, away versus Bishop Chittard, HSE, and Indian Creek. Let's show the girls some love and support them this week.
In wrestling news, we beat Noblesville. In the 36-30 win, we saw the usual standout performances by JT, aka Jonathan Taylor, Eli Fry, Jason Rooney, and Ike O'Neill. Overall, a great win for the boys.
And finally, swim and dive competes today on Tuesday at Zionsville.
Brother, bowl season was a doozy.
My Irish took care of business.
Yeah, congrats on that. It must be nice having a bowl win.
Purdue can't say the same though. They lost by a lot, by 8 touchdowns to LSU, who loses by 8 touchdowns. Have you ever?
In our defense, we didn't have our quarterback, wide receiver 1, tight end 1, cornerback 1. Our coaching staff has been with the team for a grand total of 3 weeks, and we have a lot of transfers and injuries.
I don't care. You know why? Because a good team could win that. Purdue's not a good team. They're
Rapid fire. Here's all the teams that got wins in this bowl season.
Are you sure you want to go?
I said rapid fire. Louisville, Oregon State, Fresno State, Southern Miss, BYU, Boise State, Marshall, Eastern Michigan, Toledo, Western Kentucky, Air Force, Houston, Wake Forest, Middle Tennessee State, because why not? New Mexico State, Buffalo, Memphis, East Carolina, Wisconsin, Duke, Arkansas, Oregon, Texas Tech, Michigan, Minnesota, Florida State, Washington, Maryland, NC State is indeed poverty, Pitt, Notre Dame, Ohio, Tennessee, Alabama, Iowa, TCU, Georgia.
I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty impressive.
You know, it was harder to write than it was to read, but, you know, thank you.
You forgot a couple though. Mississippi State won the ReliaQuest Bowl for Mike Leach. Tulane made some magic happen to beat Caleb Williams and USC. Penn State won the Rose Bowl, and of course LSU smacked around Purdue like a rag doll, 63-7.
You know, as many of you may or may not know, I write the script each week, and the reason why I included some Boilermaker slander in this week's edition is because, you know, I'm a Boilermaker loyalist, and I can dish it out, and I want to prove that I can take it, you know.
Man, you are so kind, Evan. So admirable too. You're a great script writer.
Thank you for saying that from the bottom of your heart and totally not reading from the script.
College basketball is just too weird.
Yeah.
When to agree just to talk about Indiana basketball?
As in the state or the college, because there are two different answers for those questions.
The state, just for this episode.
All right, Purdue lost to Rutgers.
Yep, they did.
You know what? Rutgers beat IU too, so why don't you just... The Boilermakers are 13-1, still number 1 in the nation as they begin a major part of their conference play. They are still the best team in Indiana.
IU is 10-3, worse than Purdue, but not by a lot.
I'm glad we can finally agree on something. Notre Dame is 12-1, they're good. Butler is 9-6, they're okay, I guess.
Until something really relevant happens in college basketball, we'll just give you guys a brief recap of Indiana college basketball.
Before we begin talking about the NFL, we would like to offer our prayers from us and everyone at Rock TV to DeMar Hamlin. Hamlin, after tackling T. Higgins in the first quarter, collapsed and was taken off the field in an ambulance where he is currently in critical condition. For those who wish to try and help in this situation, there's a GoFundMe link in the description of this video for a charity that he started.
Truly scary situation.
I really don't want to talk about the NFL at the moment. Are you opposed to just giving a pre-playoff recap next week?
I'm not opposed to that at all.
All right, and that's what we'll do. From the sports desk for the first time in 2023, stay breezy and go Rocks.